Hi guys, Mr. Fabio here. I am going to be showing you what your assignment is. Your class specifically is doing something different than other classes. Other classes are doing something different than their classes. So I thought I would go through this article with you and read it with you to help you and to show you what the assignment is today. So I'm going to read it out loud because it's what I usually do in class at least once. And now you guys can keep that and put that on tape for yourself. So the title of the article is called The Missouri Compromise and Slavery in the Western United States. Two things that you have to do is highlight the central idea as well as the ways the Missouri Compromise caused conflict. That is going to be written about in a little bit. So that's why we're going to highlight. We're going to highlight using this highlight tool, any color you'd like. And highlight using the highlight tool. And that's how we're going to do it. The other program wasn't working the right way. So, okay. Most white Americans agreed that the Western expansion was critical to the growth of the United States as a nation. The question was what should be done about slavery in the West. Huge numbers of slaves had been forcibly moved to the new Western territories. Slaves became a pressing issue. Slavery became a pressing issue. At the Constitutional Convention in 1787, the Founding Fathers sought to balance the interests of the slaves and free states. Their compromise sacrificed the rights of African Americans in favor of a stronger union among the states. The issue exploded once more in 1819 when Missouri petitioned to join the United States as a slave state. So I'm going to highlight this line here. The issue of slavery exploded once more when the Missouri petitioned to join the United States as a slave state, because it's identified as a conflict or a problem that we're going to be introduced to. Balance between free and slave states. In 1819, the nation contained 11 free and 11 slave states. Each state got 2 senators in Congress. So free and slave states had an equal number of senators, which created a balance in the United States Senate. Missouri's entrance into the United States as a slave state threatened to give more power to slave states. Oh, I see another conflict. Congressman James Tallmadge from New York proposed that slavery be prohibited in the new state. The debate in Congress was extraordinarily bitter. The defenders of slavery relied on a central principle of fairness. How could the Congress deny a new state the right to decide for itself whether or not it wants to allow slavery? If Congress controlled the decision, then any new states would have fewer rights than the original ones. Henry Clay, a leading congressman, played a crucial role in negotiating a 2-part solution known as the Missouri Compromise. First, Missouri would be admitted to the Union as a slave state, but it would be balanced by the admission of Maine, a free state, which had long awaited to be separated from Massachusetts. Second, slavery was going to be excluded from all new states in the Louisiana Purchase, north of the southern boundary of Missouri. People on both sides of the controversy saw the compromise as deeply flawed. Nevertheless, it lasted over 30 years until the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854 determined that a new state north of the boundary could choose slavery if they wished. So in this paragraph, there is a conflict or a mention of a conflict. It also there's a definition of what the Missouri Compromise was. 2-part solution right here. I would probably make note of that, maybe with an underline or something for yourself, and then highlight some other conflict. But I'm not going to continue to highlight because that's going to be your job. But I'll keep reading for you. This momentous question. In the Missouri Compromise, slave states were trying to use the principles of democracy and self-determination to justify slavery. But slavery went against the American belief in equality. The Missouri Crisis exploded an enormous problematic area of American politics and would explode in the Civil War. As Thomas Jefferson observed about the Missouri Crisis, this momentous question, like a fire bell in the night, awakened and filled me with terror, as he believed the compromise would eventually tear the country apart. African Americans obviously opposed expanding slavery in the West. News of opposition to the Congress circulated wildly within slave communities. Denmark Vesey, a free black minister living in Charleston, South Carolina, he quoted the Bible as well as the congressional debates over the Missouri issue to denounce slavery from the pulpit of his African Methodist Episcopal Church. Along with a key ally named Gulai Jack, Vesey organized a slave rebellion in 1822 that planned to capture the Charleston Arsenal and seize the city long enough for its black population to escape to the free black country of Haiti. The rebellion was betrayed just days before it was supposed to begin. It resulted in the execution of 35 organizers, including Vesey, as well as the destruction of the black church where he preached. So again, there's a conflict here, so you're going to have to highlight it. And finally, opposition to slavery grows. With anti-slavery sentiment building in the North and opposition among African Americans in the South, slaveholders were on the defensive. As one white Charlestonian explained, by the Missouri question, our slaves thought there was a charter of liberties granted by them, by Congress. African Americans knew that Southern whites would not end slavery. However, they recognized that the increasing divide between North and South, their battle over Western expansion, could open opportunities for blacks to rebel. The most explosive of these actions was Nat Turner's Virginia slave revolt in 1831. So once your reading is done and you've highlighted all of your conflicts that happened, you're going to quick write the answer to this question. Choose two groups of people that were described in the article. That's your first part, right? Choose two groups of people. How was their experience of the event similar? How was it different? Write a response that compares the perspectives of two groups using details from the article. So again, it's not an ICE paragraph, it's just a quick write, but you have to answer the full question. So you're identifying two different groups and you're explaining how their experiences were similar or different. And give me like 3 to 4 sentences.